Okay, welcome back, Bio 2. We are continuing with Chapter 24, Section 4, the second part. We are getting into in specific, our first type of seed plants, and those are gymnosperms. So we're going to look at, first thing, what are the four groups of gymnosperms? Remember, we said that these are the cone bearers, so these are the ones that are going to reproduce using cones. And our four types are gnetophytes, cycads, ginkgos, and conifers. So those are her four types of gymnosperms. So first one we're going to look at are the gnetophytes, and about 70 present-day species of the phylum Gnetophyta are known, and they're placed into just three different genera, or just genus, three different genuses, I guess if we would say it incorrectly, but genre is the plural form of that. And they have reproductive scales that are clustered into cones. So these ones really are pretty rare, not that common anymore, not really of too much importance, but just know that this is, I believe, a picture that's so it's even hard to find a Google image of what a gnetophyte looks like. So that's kind of how uncommon they are, but that is what one might look like. So first type, just know, are gnetophytes. Our next one we're going to look at are the cycads. And the cycads are palm-like plants that reproduce with large cones, so they look similar to a palm tree. And they first appeared during the Triassic period about 225 million years ago, and today only 9 genera or genus of cycads exist, and they grow naturally in tropical and subtropical places. So we're not going to see these around here because we are not tropical or subtropical, but just know they're palm-like and they use large cones, so there it is right there. As you can see, it almost has a similar leaf to a palm tree. And you can see that big cone growing right in the center. So that is what our cycads are going to look like, palm-like with one large cone. Our next one are the ginkgos. And we have today the phylum Gynophyta contains only one species, known as Ginkgo biloba. And biloba, if we break that down, it means two lobes, and we'll see in the leaf why it means two lobes. And the living ginkgo species looks like its fossil ancestors. So this is one of our, like a living fossil, I guess you could say, in terms of the plant kingdom. And ginkgo trees are planted in U.S. cities because of their resistance to air pollution. I'm actually on the campus of Illinois College. If you visit there, you'll see a couple of these ginkgo trees. I saw them just about every single day. And here's what they look like. As you can tell, they're called biloba because if you look at this one plant here in the middle, we have a little dip that goes down. We have one lobe here, biloba, two lobes. So that is what the ginkgos will look like. Again, this is the only living example of a ginkgo. And then our last group we're going to have are the gymnosperms, are the cone bearers, are the conifers. So these are the most common gymnosperms with more than 500 known species. And these include pines, spruce, firs, cedars, sequoias, redwoods, junipers, and yews. So these are going to be what we call our evergreen trees. So whenever we go down at Christmas time, you're cutting down a conifer tree, most likely. It's most likely going to be one of these pine, spruce, or fir, and maybe even cedar. Those are the most common, I would believe, in terms of a Christmas tree. So these are our evergreens. As you can see, this is a picture of what one looks like growing. This is obviously a very tall one, but we all know what the evergreen trees look like. And some ecology of conifers really quick just to end. This is just how they interact in the environment with the rest of their living and non-living surroundings. Their leaves have specific adaptations to dry conditions. As you can see, there are little pine needles, or their little needles. So that's one of their that's their leaf actually, is those little needles, and they develop thin leaves which reduce evaporation. So the reason why leaves are thin like that is because they reduce evaporation, and their leaves have a thick waxy layer, and that's going to help keep in water, again reducing evaporation. And most conifers are evergreens and retain their leaves all year. So I mentioned that already. So that is it for the specifics of the gymnosperms. Let me know if you have any questions.